associations. We have CMMI, IMEI, MUI, NUSI, ISWAN, and various other seafarers association today joining us for this event. Members of Marina Society, Kerala, members of the Nautical Institute joining us from across the country, members of Nautical Institute from various other branches across the world, and my fellow members with the Indian Nautical Institute India Southwest Branch. We thank you all for joining us for this event and welcome all of you to this event today. As you know, the Nautical Institute has been running a campaign since the last a month or so, especially during this times of pandemic, in recognition of the seafarers who have been doing an excellent job keeping this lifeline of this world up and running. Today, the Nautical Institute, India Southwest Branch, with the Nautical Institute London, is having this event in appreciation of Captain Prashant Rangnekar, Chairman MASSA, and Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani, who is the Chairman of FOSMA, in appreciation to the efforts that has been taken by these two associations for the welfare of seafarers, especially with regard to the sign-off of those seafarers, which helps them to get back and join up with their families during this crisis of pandemic. At the same time, helping seafarers who are on leave to join back on the ship and help them continue with their employment. FOSMA and MASA are two pillars of Indian shipping who have been doing an excellent job over the last few months. And I believe probably hundreds and thousands and 10,000s of seafarers have benefited from the efforts taken by both FOSMA and MASA. But I would say today, on a different perspective, probably, the importance just to have a significance of associations, probably because if you look at the seafarers numbers, if I look at the Indian seafarers numbers today, with about 2 lakh Indian seafarers, but when I look at the numbers compared to the population of our country, 130 crores, it is probably less than even 1%. And even if I take the number of seafarers across the globe, 1.5 million, and compare it with the 750 plus crores of population, again, the percentage of seafarers across the globe is so low. And probably the voice of the seafarers are not really heard. And that is where the importance of associations, various seafarers associations, and we have so many of them today. I'm so happy that we have so many seafarers association today leading FOSMA, MASA. These are the associations whereby the seafarers' voice can be heard at the right place. So we are very happy to have FOSMA and MASA, appreciating them for their efforts, as well as various other seafarers associations with us today. Welcome to all of you. Before I start this event, I probably have a small appeal. As we all know that we are all, in recent time, there was this accident of the pollution accident of Wakashio of Mauritius. And though we still are waiting for details of the event, but we know one thing, that seafarers are sometimes considered or trialed under for criminalization, which as a seafarer myself and many of you who are on this event today, is of great concern to all of us, that when seafarers are considered as criminals or trialed for criminalization, which every one of us know that seafarers, we are not criminals. We have no intention of doing any crime. And whatever has happened, even if you say it is due to negligence, it is never with the intent of doing something like that. So my appeal is that we have FOSMA, we have MASA, we have MUI, and we have ISWAN. We have so many associations of our country, as well as from the globe that we should help out wherever possible Captain Sunil, who is today facing a trial, and as of the last news that I read, 60 years in prison, which is just not done for a seafarer. It is of great concern to seafarers like us and those who are sailing at sea. And I hope we will muster enough support for Captain Sunil, at least to release him of the case that he is being charged of. Well, I would just remind you about a small netiquette of our event. Jillian, can you see my screen? Sometimes when I change it, can you see my screen?
I still see the poster on your screen. I do not see the presentation.
Yeah, that's a problem. So I need to share back again.
Yes.
Can you?
It's waiting. There it is. Yes.
Okay. So just to remind the participants, as I mentioned, we have quite a lot of people joining us from London, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and from almost every other state in our country. And we have eminent personalities who are on the event to speak to us and let us know their views. So, and of course, there are people who are joining us and connecting from middle of the ocean as well. So let's respect everybody's time. And I hope you will understand that and help me with keeping this event on schedule. So just a small request, those who are not speaking, to keep their mics muted, and to help us with the bandwidth issues, maybe accept the speakers and the eminent guests that we have. You can have the videos off, and then we will let you know when you can turn on your videos. Thank you so much for that. So let me just get on with the itinerary of today. And yes, I spoke about the importance of an association on behalf of the seafarers. And sometimes it is, we need such representations at the local level. And this is what the Nautical Institute has done. The Nautical Institute in India is represented at the branch at Delhi, at North. We have a Northwest branch at Chandigarh. We have a West branch at Mumbai. We have a South branch at Chennai. And we have the latest addition to it, our India Southwest branch at Cochin. And we are fortunate today that we have with us the founder president of the Indian Southwest branch, who is also a very long-term member of MASSA when he was heading Expedo shipping in India. So he's not new to Indian industry, he's not new to MASSA, he's been a member, and he's our founder president of the Southwest branch. I invite Captain Georgie Thomas, the founder president, Nautical Institute, India Southwest branch, to welcome the distinguished guest. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vinod. Thank you for the kind introduction. As you all know, Vinod is our secretary of Nautical Institute, India Southwest branch. And he has been doing a fantastic job of coordinating these events and having it broadcast to practically the whole of the world and all of the oceans. We have now seafarers tuning in from their ships. And the last time there were a few who were tuning in from their cars. So technology has really enabled this, and it's my pleasant task to welcome the luminaries of today formally. Before doing that, let me inform our guests who may not be aware that Kerala is celebrating the Onam festival now, which is undoubtedly the biggest festival of Kerala. Unfortunately, the COVID pandemic has cast a pall of gloom over the celebrations, so the fun and frolic of the times is not there. But let the Onam spirit be still with us, so that we can get over this terrible times as early as possible and be back to our normal selves. To start my welcome address, it is our president of Nautical Institute, Gillian Carson Jackson, who is at the moment in Canberra in Australia. Gillian commenced her career in the Canadian Coast Guard, graduating from the Canadian Coast Guard College as a navigation officer in 1986. Gillian has worked both afloat and ashore in the Canadian Coast Guard, including 10 years as an instructor at the Coast Guard College. Following an active role at the IALA in the development of VTS training, she moved to France to work with the IALA as technical coordination manager. In 2006, she moved to Australia to work with MASSA as manager of vessel traffic and pilot services. After 10 years in 2016, Gillian left AMSA to set up her own consultancy, JCJ Consulting, focusing on very technical advice and education. In May 20, Gillian was appointed as a director of Global Met. She represents the Nautical Institute at IALA as chair of Emerging Digital Technologies Working Group and the Personnel and Training Working Group VTS Committee. She holds an MA degree from University of Toronto. She is a fellow of the Nautical Institute and fellow of the Royal Institute of Navigation. Gillian is also the first ever female president of the Nautical Institute. So big congratulations to her. She has been recently elected to this post. She belongs to the Nautical Institute Southeast Australia branch and considers the branch as a professional family, sounding board, and reality check. Despite it being a bit cold out there in Australia, and it is well past her time, she radiates so much of positive energy. And let's give a warm welcome to Gillian to this program. Next, it is my pleasure to welcome Captain Duncan Mcketvie, Vice President of the Nautical Institute. Captain Mcketvie went to sea in 1966 at the tender age of 16 as an apprentice for 4 long years. He obtained his Master's Certificate of Competency in 1974 and assumed command in 1976. After sailing on different types of vessels, between 1980 and 90, he served on anchor handling tugs, salvage vessels, and as a rig mover and base manager. He came ashore in 1990, starting out as a marine superintendent, general manager, chief operating officer with various companies in Qatar, Cyprus, and Dubai. In 2000, Captain Mcketvie opened his own consultancy, Quadrant Marine Consultancy and Services, with offices in Dubai and Poland. Captain Mcketvie is semi-retired in 2013, fully retired in 2016, so he claims, living most of the year in the UK. He's a Nautical Institute member since 1974, served in branch committees in Cyprus and Dubai in various capacities. He was chairman of Nautical Institute Dubai from 2002 to 2008. Captain Mcketvie is a fellow of the Nautical Institute and has served 2 terms as council member and elected as vice president in 2013 and again in 2019. A warm welcome to Captain Duncan Mcketvie, sir. We have with us Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani, Chairman of FOSMA, Director and Chief Operating Officer of MMS Marine, Mumbai. Dr. Bhavnani is a product of the Delhi Public School and a marine engineering graduate from Barve 1984 batch. He did BA Economics from Sri Ram College of Commerce in Delhi, postgraduate diploma in management from Center of Management Education, Delhi, a doctorate from Aligarh Muslim University in Business Administration. Dr. Bhavnani did a senior management program and executive program in business and company law at Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. He did a postgraduate diploma in maritime law and ship finance followed by a master's degree in maritime law from London Metropolitan University. Dr. Bhavnani has amassed an amazing array of qualifications indeed. He sailed in various shipping companies in descending capacities, last as chief engineer on oil tankers and bulk carriers. In 1997, he joined Meiji Shipping head office in Tokyo in charge of tanker-related training and operations. In 2002, he moved to India to join MMS Maritime at Mumbai, which is a subsidiary of Meiji Shipping, where he is the director and chief operating officer. Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani is the incumbent chairman of FOSMA. We extend a warm welcome to Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani. We have with us today Captain Prashant is Rangnekar, Chairman of MASSA and Chief Operating Officer of Elegant Marine Services. which is the crewing arm of fleet management in India. Captain Rangnekar completed his training on training ship Rajendra in 1980 and joined Scindia Steam Navigation Company. Subsequently, he sailed in Indian and foreign-owned vessels. In 1997, he joined fleet management as Marine Superintendent and rose to the present position as Head of India Operations. When he joined fleet management, the company had just 15 ships, and today it manages over 550 ships, encompassing all types of vessels. In fact, I just happened to be in the fleet management office in Mumbai when Captain Rangnekar was just taking over in 2004 as COO. Captain Rangnekar was responsible for setting up the Fleet Management Training Institute at Navy Mumbai in 1998. The company has won many awards under his tenure, like Best Foreign Employer, Seafarers Welfare Award, Fastest Growing and Promising Company of the Decade, Most Compassionate Employer, just to name a few. Fleet Management is a leading employer of Indian seafarers. Captain Rangnekar and his team have played a stellar role in the company's spectacular growth over the years. Captain Rangnekar is the chairman of MASSA, and he is in close liaison with Maritime Administration and other industry bodies on matters pertaining to training and deployment of Indian seafarers. The Nautical Institute extends a warm welcome to Captain Prashant Rangnekar. We have this Captain Shiv Halbe, CEO of MASSA. Captain Shiv Halbe belongs to the TS Rajendra 1974-76 batch. He started his sea career with the Scindia Steam Navigation Company. After sailing for 16 years, came ashore in 1992 as Marine Superintendent with renowned ship management in Mumbai. Over the past 25 years, he has been associated with several corporate startups. He retired in 2018 as Managing Director of Gulf Energy Maritime Services in India. He has been a director of MASSA since the year 2000, and was also chairman of MASSA from 2014 to 17. He is the incumbent CEO of MASSA and the go-to person if you have any problems whatsoever, which any MASSA member will vouch for. Captain Halbe has been burning the midnight oil, often burning the candle at both ends, coordinating and organizing the charter flights for seafarers recently. Captain Halbe is a fellow of the Nautical Institute and a fellow of the Company of Master Management India. Captain Halbe was born and brought up in Calcutta, settled in Mumbai, but he also has a Cochin connection. His father was posted in Cochin shipyard for several years, and so those Kerala is dealing with Captain Halbe, beware, he can understand our language. A hearty welcome to Captain Halbe. We have Captain Mahesh Yadav, Director of Maritime Education and Training, FOSMA, with us this afternoon. Captain Mahesh Yadav completed his pre-sea training on the TS Rajendra in 1976, and he stood first in his batch. He holds an extra master's certificate and joined FOSMA in 1999 as a Director of Maritime Education and Training, and continues to date. He looks after all the training institutes of FOSMA in addition to performing association functions. Captain Yadav is an examiner for University of Mumbai and also an external examiner for Masters and Mates at Maritime Department, Mumbai. Captain Yadav participated in all IMO meetings for revision of HDCW Convention and was chairman of its implementation committee in India. Captain Yadav was awarded for outstanding contribution to maritime education and training during National Maritime Day celebrations in 2010. He is a fellow of the Company of Master Management India. A hearty welcome to Captain Mahesh Yadav. It is our privilege to have Captain B.S. Barve, who belongs to the training ship in 1948-50 batch. After 10 years sailing the Scindia Steam Navigation Company and obtaining extra master certification, he joined Director General of Shipping in 1961 as a nautical surveyor. He went on to become Principal Officer, Mercantile Marine Department, Mumbai in 1986, then rose to the highest position of Nautical Advisor to Government of India in 1988. Captain Barve represented India at all IMO meetings from 1980 to 1985. Captain Barve has made outstanding contributions to the maritime industry, which are too numerous to list here. Captain Barve was a consultant with IMO for various maritime projects abroad. Captain Barve served as First Secretary Shipping at the High Commission of India and London. After superannuation, he has been keeping himself busy as training and quality consultant, principally member of Academy and Governing Council at Tulani Maritime Institute, and also as a Dean of the Institute. Captain Barve is the recipient of the prestigious Varna Award and Lifetime Achievement Award at the Samudra Manthan Awards ceremony in 2017. Captain Barve is a fellow of the Company of Master Mariners of India and a member of Institute of Marine Technologies. Captain Barve, sir, a doyen of the Indian Maritime Fraternity, a shipping legend. We are thrilled and excited to have you on this program, and we extend to you a very warm welcome, sir. Mr. Deepak Shetty, IRS, is a former senior civil servant and an IRS officer, retired as Secretary to the Government of India. He served as Joint Director General of Shipping from 2011 to 14 and as Director General of Shipping from 2015 to 16. Sir, when you were Director General of Shipping, you had visited Cochin. We fondly remember the open forum we had with you at the Merchant Navy Club when the shipping fraternity here got a chance to interact with the Director General of Shipping live, perhaps the very first time. Mr. Deepak Shetty is empaneled on the global roster of experts of the United Nations. Mr. Shetty is the recipient of 24 international awards during his service career, some of which is a presidential award that was bestowed on him on 2002 on Republic Day. Same year, he received the commendation on International Customs Day. He has been conferred with commendations by the Foreign Minister, Government of India, Foreign and Maritime Affairs Minister, Government of Seychelles, and Director, Maritime Security, Interpol. A hearty welcome to you, Mr. Deepak Shetty, sir. We have a senior Master Mariner, Captain George, with us today. He belongs to the training ship Dufferin 1969-71 batch. He had an illustrious sea career spanning 4 decades, starting with the Shipping Corporation of India, receiving command in 1982 with the Pacific National Alliance, and thereafter in command of all types of ships, including PCCs, VLCCs, VLOCs for different companies. George is credited with setting up the Univan Maritime Academy at Cochin, which is the first TCW training institute in Kerala. He was faculty member with Cochin Shipyard Limited, Eurotech Maritime Academy, Cochin University of Science and Technology, Institute of Marine Engineers Academy. He is an external examiner for mates oral examinations with MMT Cochin. He is a fellow of the Company of Master Mariners of India, incumbent chairman of CMMI Cochin chapter, which is his second tenure as chairman. A warm welcome to Captain George. We have Captain Rajesh Nambiar, the young master and pilot who joined sea in the year 2000. So he can claim to be truly a millennial seafarer. After 15 years at sea in various companies, in 2015 he came ashore to join Cargill International in the dry bulk post-fixture vessel operations division. After a year and a half, he joined the Cochin Port Trust as a pilot, which he believes is his true calling. Captain Rajesh Nambiar is also pursuing a Extra Master Certification course with Synergistic Solutions, Mumbai, headed by Captain Ajay Achudan, whom we all know as a trainer par excellence. Captain Rajesh is a superb organizer too. As a pilot, along with his other pilots in Cochin Port, guided by our DC Captain Joe Salapat. As you know, the port has been doing a fantastic job for crew change. They have also been assisting the Nautical Institute in distributing the Navigator magazine and also presenting the certificate of appreciation to shipmasters calling at Cochin Port. Captain Rajesh is a fellow of the Company of Master Mariners of India and incumbent secretary of CMMI Cochin chapter. Warm welcome to you, Rajesh. We have our media partners from CN Job, Sagar Sandesh, Marex, Bandaka Publications, sea and coast. We have members from the Nautical Institute, the Company of Master Mariners of India, Mariners Society Cochin, Institute of Marine Engineers, a number of seafarers, well-wishers, and family members. Thank you all for joining in, and I welcome you to the program. Thank you, and have a good session today, interacting with the luminaries. Over to Vinod.
Thank you, Captain Jose. I should tell Captain Halbe that whenever we meet for our fellowship, Captain Jose Thomas has been looking for a junior of TS Rajendra, and I think he has found you. He was one batch junior to Captain Jose Thomas. But I would also caution Captain JKT that the senior is sitting next to you. We have Captain GK Georgie also on this event and many more. Before I get to the next speaker, I also invite, I can see Sri Hajra sir has joined us. Welcome, sir. I can see Mr. Sudhir Subedar, Captain Rajesh Tandon, Captain Philip Matthews, and Captain John Manesses. Welcome to this event. The next in my lineup, as you know, Nautical Institute is not only in India. Nautical Institute is an organization spread across the world. We have footprints in over 70 countries, probably touching close to 10,000 members very soon. More of that, we will have our next speaker who will be introducing the Nautical Institute to the audience. But I should say that, we are having this event today, and if we had all these events over the past, this is our 7th event, we should, I personally, and on behalf of the Nautical Institute Southwest Branch, thank our president, Ms. Gillian, doing all the hard work from behind the scenes, setting in Australia. So let me welcome Ms. Gillian Carson Jackson, President of Nautical Institute London, joining us from Canberra, Australia. Over to you, Ms. Gillian.
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be here. What is interesting is to hear all of those introductions, and I'm supposed to be telling you a bit about what the Nautical Institute is, but it sounds like everyone here already knows. It is wonderful to be able to represent the Nautical Institute at these events, and we have had amazing results and interactions on both. I'm just looking at the Facebook page as well as the interactions that we have here on our meetings. So thank you very much to Southwest India for the work that they're doing. I'll give you a little bit of information about the Nautical Institute, probably some things that you may not know and things that you may have known before. So the Nautical Institute is a members organization. It is for the maritime professional. And as such, our members are those who are committed and knowledgeable, linked in some manner to the control of ships, ashore and afloat. We have VTS operators, surveyors, ship managers, pilots, the actual operators on board vessels, as well as crew managers and mooring masters. So it's very broad. It represents the breadth of the experience of the maritime industry. So we're very lucky in that manner. Yes, we have over 7,000 members, and we have a very wide branch network. I always think of it as being a global organization with a local support. So you've got that think global but act local. And I always say, as was in my introduction, that my branch members are the support that I have had. The growth that I had by joining the Nautical Institute was immeasurable, and it still remains so to this day. The situation that we are in right now, the Nautical Institute has been really working as hard as we possibly can to support our members, and our members are the seafarers. We are the voice of the seafarers, our members at the IMO, and we have been working hard with all of the other sister organizations to support crew change, to support seafarers and their mental well-being. It's very, very difficult crew change right now. You don't know for sure. We all know that when we went to sea, we looked at that date, we looked at that end date, and we knew, counted down, and we were going to be going home. Now that doesn't happen. So that end date doesn't mean anything. And some of the seafarers are having a difficult time knowing what to do. We had a meeting of the Younger Members Council just on Thursday night, And one of the seafarers, one of the members there on the Younger Members Council, was saying that a lot of her colleagues, a lot of her friends are starting to question their career choices. And so this is something we need to look forward to in the Nautical Institute. What can we do to support the mariner? What can we do to support the maritime professional and to support our industry going forward? One of the things that we can do is recognize the hard work that is going on, and the hard work today from the Foreign Ship Owners and Ship Managers Association, of FOSMA, and from the Maritime Association of Ship Owners, Ship Managers, and Agents. You represent such a large number of seafarers, and it is just amazing the work that we've been able to have. The success stories. We need to celebrate the success stories, because this industry is a wonderful industry to work in, and it is an industry with a great future. So a little bit about the Nautical Institute, and I'm going to pass back to Vinod now, because I know you have many other people to listen to tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Gillian. And I should say that we have been holding your yoga as well as your dinner for the past 6 weeks. And thanks for all the support once again that you have been extending from Australia. The Nautical Institute is a professional body. It's an organization which works closely with IMO. We are an NGO to IMO. And the Nautical Institute do conduct various events right around the year. There are events that is conducted from our headquarters in London, as well as in various branches spread across the globe, as well as in our country. So I would let my next speaker speak about the activities of the Nautical Institute. But I should say today it's a special event for me. When I look at the eminent personalities that we have on this event, we have veterans, we have stalwarts, we have people who have received various awards on today's event. And when my next speaker that we have lined up, when he went out to sea, I was not even born. So that's why I said it's a very special event for me. Let me invite Mr. Duncan Mcketvie, the Vice President of the Nautical Institute, joining us from UK. Over to you, Mr. Duncan. Captain Duncan.
Thank you very much, Vinod, and thanks for your remarks earlier, Gillian. I believe, Vinod, I would be both a veteran, and having lasted this long, I must be a stalwart as well. As Gillian says, from the introductions, it appears that most people know what we do, and she was quite correct to talk about the breadth of the industry that we represent. But I'll try and give a flavour of what the Nautical Institute offers to the membership and to non-members, to the industry as a whole, and specifically mention some of the changes that we've had to make due to the advent of COVID-19. Changes which mainly centre around an increased use of website and online activities. And I believe that makes us no different to the majority of the industry that we represent. We have provided on our website dedicated support and technical guidance on how to handle the circumstances surrounding COVID-19. This is freely available to anyone, members and non-members, and is incredibly inclusive. It's updated on a very regular basis and is a great resource for both the serving seafarer and also for those in ship management ashore. We are a networking fraternity, and the importance of the networking is probably even more important now when a physical interface is reduced. And the technical support that's given by the headquarters to branches to arrange such items as local webinars has been another major change that we've done. The large webinars that have been run over the last few weeks have been a tremendous success. Free again, available to anyone within the industry, and has attracted tremendous numbers. Actually, higher numbers than we've attracted for physical meetings, almost 700 in some cases. The certificates of appreciation have been another opportunity to bring people together, just as we're doing today. And we have to give great thanks to India Southwest Branch for the extraordinary efforts and the great success that they are producing in their interpretation of this. The normal work of the Institute does go on, the normal nuts and bolts, the benefits which are available to members and non-members. We are still the opportunity for the voice of the seafarer to be heard at IMO, for instance. And Gillian, in fact, herself is our representative voice at IALA. But going back to training and learning opportunities, which is very much in line with the objects of the Institute, the short courses and the VideoTel courses available to members as part of the membership, one VideoTel course a year, very popular and maybe justify the membership in and of themselves. Navigator magazine, which was mentioned earlier, a great success, loved by all, a really, really terrific magazine, not aimed possibly at the management level, but it really, really useful and in fact enjoyed by all. But Seaways, our monthly magazine, well known to everybody, this provides a great gateway to so much. A chance for people to show their branch events, to catch up with other people's branch events, to get something off their chest in letters, to read the letters, to learn something from it. MARS, the Marine Accident Reporting System, we're all well aware of that. And just for your interest, the affiliate scheme within the Nautical Institute has been extended to include Sapphire and Emerald classes. And these are well worth considering by various companies and bodies to get in touch with head office. The funds that are derived from the affiliate scheme go directly to fund MARS. So the Institute itself is an opportunity to make your voice heard. The publications are now industry standard. I think you'll find in most of the ships that any of you visit, most of the ships, any of you manage, most of the ships, any of you have anything to do with, have got a number of industry standard publications on board, published by the Nautical Institute. It's become a major part of our activities. As has our LinkedIn page, 20,000 respondents in LinkedIn, Facebook, of course. You're all aware, I'm sure, of our involvement with the Honourable Company of Master Mariners in developing and administering the Chartered Master Mariner Scheme, your chance to show that you can reach the ultimate in your qualification. On a broader front, the Institute responsible for DP accreditation and for oil spill response trainer accreditation. This is to UK standard, but it's recognised by IMO and is used worldwide. The Institute provides us as mariners with professional recognition in 5 different grades and also a jobs page. Captain Bernard talked about criminalisation a little earlier, and of course the Institute offers last resort specialist legal cover to help guard against the threat of criminalisation for members. The Nautical Institute is a resource. It's a resource to the industry, to the seafarers. When the Nautical Institute was started in 72, a reporter for Fair Play said that it had to prove that it has a function which is not duplicated elsewhere and is of value to the seafarer and to the shipping industry. I think the Nautical Institute has fulfilled that brief in full and continues to do so and expand upon it. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you all today and to have the chance to represent the Nautical Institute. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain Duncan. Thanks for joining us. And I'm sure those seafarers, as well as the Seafarers Association, including FOSMA, MASSA, and all those eminent personalities that we have today, had keenly taken note of the Nautical Institute of what you've spoken. And you did also mention about the legal cover. I believe it is about 100,000 USD legal cover that is on for the members of the Nautical Institute in case of any legal disputes. Thank you once again for joining us. on my list, next, sometimes when we go on for an event, we make that extra bit to get noticed. But I have with us one tall personality who doesn't have to do that extra bit to get noticed because he's very tall, right? So I'm talking not in terms of height, but I'm also talking in terms of the contribution this person has done to our industry. Let me invite Captain Shiv Halbe, the tall personality, who is the CEO of MASSA, to introduce MASSA to the audience. Can you unmute, sir?
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you, Captain Vinod, for this generous introduction. Let me go to screen share first. Can you see this? Can you see the screen, please?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. I will not take this. I prepared this small presentation more as an aid memoir for myself. It's a brief introduction to MASSA. What do we do, who we are, and what we do. We have a bit of a history, and a very good history at that. It was previously known as Owners Agent Committee Cruise, and this name came from some time during the independence, time of the independence, when majority of the shipping was centered actually in London and in India with the Indian National Ship Owners or Steam Ship Owners Association, as it was known around that time. And the Indian crew that was employed on the British vessels those days were employed through Indian entities who were called managing agents. And a number of ship owners, Indian and foreigners, employed these managing agents. And some big names they are no more there, but they are James McIntosh, Turner Morrison, Killick Nixon. They were such managing agents those days. And these were the ones who were actually, the crew members were employed by these so-called agents. And OSCC was the platform for these entities. It was not a registered body then. It was more of an association of persons who are interested in the same, a common interest they had. So that's how it was, a fairly informal one. But those days, the laws were such that you didn't need to register an entity to do an activity like that. Today you do. Today you cannot get away with that. So the earliest record of OSCC that we have is participating in the National Maritime Board India Agreement. This is the agreement for employment of Indian ratings on Indian flagships, and even in those days on foreign flagships. Those seafarers who were routed through the government system, their wages were actually negotiated through the National Maritime Board Agreement. There is a record I have which is of 1957. That record is available, and of course the ones are subsequent to that, they are available. So it's almost 60 years we are for sure. Even today we remain the constituent of National Maritime Board of India and in fact we are the secretariat to the shipowner side for the negotiations with the unions. As a young nation then, we provided a large number of ratings to the global shipping companies, Anchor Line, P&O, Ellerman Lines, etc. So rating training was very important to us at the time, and OSCC was involved in such training and represented on the Governing Council of Training Ship Rahman, which is probably the oldest training establishment in India. I think it was founded in 1909, if I'm not mistaken. And our association still continues with TS Rahman, and we are represented on the Governing Council. We started an English language laboratory in the Lal Bahadur Shastri College in Mumbai. That was the first post-sea institute started by the government of India for maritime training. And among a lot of other things, they require tanker safety courses to be undertaken by officers serving on tankers. So our members, Chevron and Mobil, who used to employ a large number of Indians then, wanted these courses to be started in India. Otherwise, they had to send their people to UK to do, or Hong Kong to do the courses. So OSCC, under that name, started the courses in partnership with the Lal Bahadur Shastri College. So OSCC provided the know-how, and LBS College provided the infrastructure, and then they trained the people there who subsequently undertook those courses. So it was sort of a build, operate, transfer, some arrangement like that. Of course, 1992, the Comet report was published, and one of the authors of that Comet report is present with us today, Captain Barve. He was very much part of the Comet report. That required some changes to be done. So one of the first things that happened was MASSA had to register as a formal body, and we have a registration certificate in 1992. Till then, we didn't need one. What did this do? The Comet report required, it's a long story, but in short, it required that the industry should pay for developing seafarers. The government did not have the wherewithal to increase training and pay for the teachers, because you need more teachers if you want to train more. So they created a body was created in which we funded that body so that we could hire lecturers and teachers to teach in government-owned maritime colleges, pre-sea and post-sea. That's how the involvement started in a big way. And then the government permitted private or non-government training into the maritime field, and we started our own training colleges in Navi Mumbai and in Chennai. These are post-sea training institutes who conduct competency courses, simulator courses, modular courses. And I don't know, I think the last count we had more than 20,000 people that passed through our portals. We are a constituent of Maritime Board of India, a Maritime Employment Board of India, which negotiates the bilateral TCC agreements with the Seafarers Union, which are ITF approved agreements. So post MLC, it has taken on a bigger role than what we ever thought earlier. And we have now 30 members representing the biggest to the smallest. And what do? Frankly, we are now playing the role of what I would call it's famously used by the present government is ease of business. You are having a problem, please tell us, we will try to find a solution. If it's a common problem, so much the better. We can find a solution much easier and make a representation. And the last one that we did, the flights is a fallout of this. The chartering of flights is a fallout of the ease of business issue. Otherwise, we managed to save considerable number of Indian jobs because of our efforts to move the seafarers up and down. Well, thank you so much. I hope I have remained within my 5 minutes.
Thank you, Captain Halbe, and I'm for the immense contributions of MASSA towards Indian seafarers and your contribution in whatever capacity that you have served in the industry. And I'm sure a lot of seafarers have benefited during this pandemic with regard to the sign-on, sign-off, that initiative that MASSA had taken. And even otherwise, even the times other than the pandemic, through various initiatives that MASSA have taken, including training, I'm sure the Indian seafarers have been. Thank you so much on that. Before I invite my next speaker, let me extend my welcome to a few of my fellow members. I can see Captain Isra, India South, Captain Abhijit Balakrishnan, Captain Sardar, and some of my good friends, Captain Shashank, Musk, Mr. Sanjay Vakil, Captain Manoj Hirkane from Tolani. Welcome to all of you to this event. Well, the next speaker that I have is not a tall personality like Captain Halbe, but he wouldn't probably need that height advantage to make his contributions. He's well known in the industry. He is everywhere. be it DG shipping, be it unions, be it with shipping companies, members, he's everywhere. So I don't think he needed that height advantage, but he's immensely contributed, like Captain Halbe. He's another personality who has immensely contributed towards the growth of Indian industry. And since I said he's seen everywhere, I would, on a lighter note, say that he's probably qualified for Mr. India, with regard to his contributions to the Indian industry, because he is, I would say, visibly invisible. So I invite Captain Mahesh Yadav, Director Training, FOSMA. Over to you, sir. I'm not able to see Captain Mahesh Yadav. Sir, can you hear us, sir? Captain Mahesh Yadav? Can somebody help me if Captain Mahesh is here?
He was here a short while ago when Captain Halbe was presenting. I didn't see him. Ah, there he is.
Yes, Captain Mahesh, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, I hope you can hear and you can believe the timings. It was just the exact when it was expected to be starting. Okay.
Good to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Trying to introduce the association, that is FOSMA, Foreign Ship Owners Representatives and Shipmanners Association, was established in India in 1989. Is registered in India as a non-profit organization.
Just give me 10 seconds, sir. Let me just put you up on the screen. Yeah, okay, sir. You can continue. Yes.
Is registered in India as a non-profit organization under the Companies Act. The purpose of the association was to provide a body representative of the ship managers operating in India for the purpose of developing, promoting, and protecting their business activities and their interests. And the second thing, to encourage and promote cordial relationship and unanimity among the ship managers on all subjects involving their common good. And the classic example of that you saw in the crew change operations. The association is responsible for negotiating collective bargaining agreement with the seafarers organizations, such as International Maritime Employers Council and ITF, the ITF TCC agreement, Indo-Norwegian agreements, etc. The association further takes up matters of common interest with the authorities, entities for resolution of all the issues involved, such as, there's a very long list, I tried to keep it very short. The parliamentarians of India to keep in abeyance some oppressive laws against seafarers working on foreign flag ships. To Ministry of External Affairs to request for Indian Navy escort for ships transiting Gulf of Aden. For release of seafarers held hostage by pirates on hijacked ships, and to initiate international actions in this matter. To stop criminalization of seafarers by intervening at diplomatic level. We represented at the parliamentary select committees against the adverse provisions of the Admiralty Bill, against setting headquarters of Indian Maritime University in Chennai, though it may sound not so correct in this audience, but that's a fact. Naturally, we wanted in Mumbai. Representing all the times to Directorate General of Shipping for training, examinations, certificates, and endorsements. For rules regarding recruitment and placement services, seafarers' identity documents, Maritime Labour Convention, Articles of Agreement, what we call it Form 1 in the e-governance system now, for Seamen's Provident Fund organizations, and at the Seafarers Welfare Fund Society. We had also been issuing the certificates of proficiency to ratings and trainees free of charge for a period of about 6 years. We have represented several times at the Ministry of Shipping, on the National Welfare Board for Seafarers, to apprise the Ministry of the progress and revision of STCW Convention, and also been member of the National Shipping Board. We represented to the Ministry of Labor for ratification, or rather early ratification, of the Maritime Labour Convention 2006. We represented to the Ministry of Law for rationalization of rules for the recruitment and placement of seafarers, and for promulgation of STCW rules in India. We represented to Indian Maritime University to safeguard the interests of our members and enable send them their sponsored trainees to these colleges. Embassies and consulates such as Norwegian Embassy for matters of Indian-Norwegian maritime cooperation, and for introduction of NIS flag state endorsement. Consulates in India on visa and flag state certification matters. International Maritime Organization participated in the revision of STCW Convention and subsequent sessions. We also been representing at the International Labour Organization for the Maritime Labour Convention 2006, the Recruitment and Placement of Seafarers Convention, that was the old one called ILO 179, and of course the Minimum Standards Convention ILO 147. On the other part, FOSMA receives contributions from the member companies towards promotion, establishment, and monitoring maritime education and training. The salient features of these activities have been faculty, staff, equipment, and facilities support to government-owned training institutes, pioneering ratings training in India after the government institutes closed down, setting up GMDSS institutes when none existed in India, setting up training institutes at Delhi and Kolkata since there were no such facilities in northern and eastern part of India, though the nautical and engineer officers predominantly came from these regions. And this list is so very long, but I think this part regarding the training, I'll keep it for another day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Captain Mahesh Yadav. I know it's a very long list of activities that FOSMA is engaged on, and it is very difficult to put it out in this 3 to 5 minutes. But thank you so much to you and to FOSMA for taking lead in so many activities on behalf of the Indian shipping industry as well as for the Indian seafarers, which has definitely benefited all of us. Since you mentioned IMU, I would just have a quick mention since I'm working with the IMU. Yesterday, our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Malini Shankar, had called for a meeting, and Madam had prioritized that on her top priority, she wants the university to collaborate with the industry. So she had a special mention for FOSMA, MASSA, and all that. So the IMU will definitely come to the industry and will take the industry on board, and that is a vision that Madam is carrying.
Thank you.
Next speaker, I was talking about the need of association and need of local representation of the association. So we have up next, when we talk about association, we also want people in those association who can lead those association and kind of help towards the cause of the seafarers. So we have one such gentleman up next who heads one such association in Cochin. He is the chairman of CMMI Kochi chapter, who has been leading the association quite well, remarkably. And Captain Jose Thomas mentioned about Dr. Deepak Shetty coming over and inaugurating our new Merchant Navy Club in Cochin. And I should say that there is one space reserved in the Merchant Navy Club, which had a lot of contributions from Captain Georgie. He really worked hard so that associations like CMMI and Nautical Institute and all the associations in Kochi can have their space in that Merchant Navy Club. In the local community, we call him the know-it-all man. You can debate anything under the sun with him, and I would say that you will never be able to beat him in any of the topic because he is the know-it-all man. So let me invite Captain Georgie, the know-it-all man, CMMI chairman, Kochi chapter. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vinod. You just sort of, I cannot say you gave hot air, but it's something very close to that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, colleagues, fellow seafarers, it's nice to have all of you putting your heads together for a common cause. I appreciate the job of FOSMA, MASA, and here we've been closely monitoring what the Cochin port has been doing that for the change of crew, especially in these trying times. COVID came like a Damocles sword, so bad that nobody knew what to do. There were stories that on one ship, the captain died with COVID, the crew threw him overboard, just like that. We don't know whether he died or not. It's what came in WhatsApp. And the whole world went crazy. But thanks to the good job done by the FOSMA, MASA to have their SOPs to start the crew change. And in India, sad to say, getting all these departments together, the port, the customs, the tugs, the immigration together to have and the port health together to have a smooth transit for the seamen was impossible. And I really commend Captain Jose Arapart, the Deputy Conservative Cochin Port, and his able Lieutenant Captain Sergeant Varghese, who did such a, or still doing such a fantastic job and smoothly transiting all the seafarers who want to come and change, make a crew change. But over and above all these things, we have to question ourselves. Is it enough? Is it enough? We have got a lot of incidents, starting with a master diverting the ship to Cochin and said, "That's it, I'm out." And recently, the ship being lost, causing a huge environmental damage, and the poor crew is sort of, we can say, criminalized. And all of us together, are we doing enough? Everybody is there for the blame game. You have done a certain job. Like for the quality management, they said we always have scope for improvement. Are the people changing crew doing enough and changing everybody? Are the people who are employing really giving employment for the right people? Are the people laying out rules, making sure the people at the grassroots also enjoy the benefits of the rules? It's not meant for one group of people. And are the people who are making noise about all these things making enough noise? Think. We're doing a good job, and we got to keep on asking ourselves, is it enough? Now, this is the time where the whole world have to know who seamen were. Captain Vinod said, it's only a small percentage of the population at sea. Why? I was on a ship, we were going to take over one of the Onassis ships, and the Greeks were very nice, actually sailors are nice, and they said, Cap, why only few of us are on the ship? And the answer was, if sea life was as easy as taking a shore job or going to office and coming back by 5 to, 9 to 5 job, the whole world will be on the ship and we'll be waiting in line. Sea life is meant only for the tough. you join the ship and you become tough. If not you, just walk off. You fall off. Like a ripe fig, you just fall off. So all of us are toughened by the sea. We know the difficulties, and the people ashore should also realize, okay, people are tough, but they got the limits. Not to make things longer, I like to conclude. Let's put all our heads together and do things better, improving day by day. And not put in our differences, rather than put aside our differences, work together for the community and for the world. And this is the time to get the world to know who we invisible seafarers are that carry 95% of the trade throughout the world. This invisibility should be made visible by us because we are invisible. We got to make ourselves visible. So I implore all of you, put your heads together somehow, and I'll join in because I've got a few ideas. I'll always be with you. And thanks a lot for listening me out. Jai Hind. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain G.K. Georgie. I think you have given a food for thought to a lot of people who are listening to you. And I'm sure that we will definitely make it one day, the seafarers visible for shouldering the responsibility. You know, everybody knows the vital role that the ships play for the trade across the globe. But probably very few know that responsibility of shouldering that trade is taken up on the shoulders of the seafarer. So I'm sure the seafarers will become visible one day sooner. Thank you so much for coming online. The next speaker that I have in my lineup, I don't think I have, even if I use as many words that I can, it would just not be able to introduce him into this event. Such is the great personality that we have. We are very fortunate to have him today. I would only say, a person, probably as I mentioned, today is an event where we have a lot of T.S. Rajendra on board with us, but probably you could never beat him because he is 1948-1950 batch of training ship Dufferin. A great personality, having made outstanding contributions to the maritime industry. He was the first Secretary Shipping at the High Commission of India in London, has represented India to IMO, has visited many countries as consultant to IMO, and so on. As I mentioned, no words would be enough. And of course, the recipient of the prestigious Varna Award in 2017. But I'm just so fortunate, sitting here in Cochin, I am just so fortunate that I can only draw a connection between myself and Captain Barve, because I started my sea career with SR Shipping, where Captain Barve had served from 1992 to 95. So it is my honor today to invite Captain P.S. Barve, the former nautical advisor to the Government of India. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you all. I'm really not sure as to why I'm here. I'm not involved at the moment in any of these institutes directly, though I am a member of some. I do not participate in much of their work, though I am continuously looking at what's happening over my shoulders. I was very much disturbed when the seafarers had their problem regarding signing on and signing off. And I also felt happy that they were not only the organizations, but even the individuals that came together and found solutions. I also saw the government organization who came together and made sure that these seafarers came on and off at a reasonable time eventually. Again, today, perhaps it's become a more regular affair, but certainly 2 or 3 years back, 2 or 3 months back, I used to get a lot of questions from people to say, what am I so-and-so is going to do? He's got stuck on board, he's doing this and he's doing that. So I'm very happy to felicitate these institutes for this particular work that they have done. I can almost say that I've grown with those institutes, so the institutes have grown with me, one of the two. MASSA was there in one form or the other, but became MASSA when I was in the DG shipping as a nautical advisor. FOSMA came with me more or less when the foreign management system started. And the Nautical Institute, Company of Master Manners, Green Technologists certainly have been there, and I have been the other. I thank you all, and I hope that the seafarers would benefit eventually from this discussion and talks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. To answer to your question, you said you do not know why you are here. I would say we are all here because of you. And I don't think we would ever have an event without you. That is how immense your contributions are to the Indian shipping industry. And my personal apologies to you, sir, because when I invited you to this event a week before, you had specifically told me to give you a call a day or two before to remind you. And I should say that you have a much more sharper memory than I am at your age, because I forgot to give you that reminder call. My apologies for that.
I had kept a note of it just for the sake of that. But another point was that I told you that time that I had an injury a few days before that, and I may not be able to make it. You see. That's why I asked you to come. You see. Now it's all right. But thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for coming in. Next up, if I would ask a question, how would you feel when you are calling a top bureaucrat, maybe an IRS, IAS officer? I certainly was very, very nervous when I made the call. And, what you are supposed to do, right? You would probably note down a few things and note down the numbers, names, but it was just happening on the other side. When I called up this gentleman, he was the one who was asking for my name, my number, and how I should go about. And the following days, that when I communicated with him, he was so spot on with all the requirements that we wanted for this event. I mean, a true gentleman, and I have seen him at the DG shipping during my days at the institutes, and a person who was once again a personality who has immensely contributed to Indian shipping, especially when he was being at the DG shipping as well as at the former Secretary of Shipping to Government of India. Let me invite Dr. Deepak Shetty, sir, former Secretary Shipping and former DG Shipping, Government of India. Over to you, sir. Please unmute, sir. Sir, please unmute, sir.
Yeah. So I have done. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute delight to be here amidst all of you on this extremely pleasant occasion where very soon you'll be felicitating both FOSMA and MASSA. I have very, very fond memories of my association with all of them over the years. Let me, of course, without forgetting, extend my deep sense of gratitude to the Nautical Institute and in particular to Captain Vinod Naveen for this very kind invite extended to me. And I would also like to extend greetings, very warm at that, to all of you present on the occasion, as well as the representatives, the office bearers and members of all the associations that are present on this occasion. Just to go back in time, in retrospect, I recall I began my voyage in the civil service in the National Maritime and the Flag Administration, which goes popularly as the Directorate General of Shipping, in April 2011. It's been around 9 years that I've been associated in some form or the other in terms of interaction with a large cross-spectrum, very representative at that, of maritime stakeholders. And amongst them, singularly, I can without hesitation go on record to name FOSMA and MASSA in terms of the depth of interaction that I've had with them over the years. For the first 4 years of my tenure as Joint Director General of Shipping, and subsequently for the next 2 years as Director General of Shipping, there were numerous occasions where I had this interface with them, amongst the several other stakeholders. For paucity of time, I will just illustrate very, very indicatively a few strands which sort of I'm able to recall very vividly at this juncture. I remember, I think one of the first ones when I came in, the MLC was at the nascent stages of being ratified in India. So we had umpteen dialogues with FOSMA, MASA, and several others. And I'm happy that it eventually culminated when India ratified this in August 2013. Around the same time, more or less, I also remember very, very clearly that we were in the midst of an extraordinary crisis which was confronting us at that point in time, which had manifested itself in the form of large incidences of Indian seafarers on foreign flag ships who had been hijacked by Somali pirates. And I remember that we were very, very fortunate that we were able to rescue as many as 52 of them at that point in time. And in terms of relief and rehabilitation measures, which we tried to sort of rustle up there afterwards, and I must compliment MASA and FOSMA for their contributions. Fast forward then, 2 years later, there was a scheme which was in the works at that point of time, which was to provide training slots to a large number of trainees, cadets who were out of job, as it were, and the government of India was wanting to sort of revive prospects for reintegrating them into the mainstream. So, and I must place this on record that it was only FOSMA and MASA who came forward, leaned over, and offered no fewer than 118 slots amongst themselves for this noble venture. It's an entirely different matter that the scheme somehow fell by the wayside over time. It got aborted because of extraneous circumstances. But nonetheless, I think we would record with deep appreciation of that immense offer which FOSMA and MASA had done at that juncture. We then took upon ourselves, and I'm making it extremely representative so that you get a very diverse flavor of all that we got to do with all of you at that point. Then we were able to significantly revamp maritime legislation. You may be aware that we were able to repeal as many as 14 merchant shipping rules, which constitute about 20% of the entire body of rules that were then obtaining. And I recall the number, which was 67. So that was a very significant advancement that we did, and courtesy the contributions of FOSMA and MASA, amongst others, I must acknowledge. We then moved on to introducing for the first time ever the Admiralty Act, which saw the light of the day in 2015. And you may remember, you may be able to reminisce that we did that almost 23 years post the Supreme Court judgment, which is a landmark verdict in the case of MV Elizabeth versus the others in the year 1992. So that legislation came about in 2015, and that again was, we were able to repeal legacy legislation which dated back to the British era, going as far back as to the years 1831 to 1890. So that again, if that credit to the legislation introduction in the form of the Admiralty Act came about in 2015, I think a significant share is attributable to FOSMA MASA, amongst others, of course. There is a very long list which I could go on and on, but I think I'm time to just to cut the long story short. The last occasion when I had interacted significantly with FOSMA MASA post my retirement was when my successor appointed me as the chairperson of a committee to sort of rejig the entire framework of eligibility criteria for the National Maritime Awards. This was in the year 2017-2018. And this again was very salient in ways more than one, because I was given to understand when I took over this mantle was that around 15 to 20 years ago was when these criteria or the eligibility yardsticks had been framed. So it is clearly almost 2 decades down the line this was being worked out. And it was a fairly painstaking, laborious effort. There were multiple sessions which we went into. And I must acknowledge again the contributions of FOSMA and MASA in this endeavor, because this eventually bore fruition. And I must put it on record that this has subsequently been accepted by the Director General of Shipping and is available in the public domain as the new set of eligibility criteria for this purpose. What I must sort of, as a standout feature of my interactions and association with these two bodies over the years has been, I found them extremely responsive and responsible in terms of their approach. You know, they've been always very vibrant, very forthcoming, extremely transparent, and very, very frank in their deliberations. I've also noticed that they've been extremely committed, very deep and passionate to the cause of seafarers' welfare promotion over the years. So it comes as no surprise at all to me that you know, they have been able to up their game, as it were, during this pandemic, the COVID-19 situation, and they have risen to the occasion. They've been able to evacuate, sign on and sign off an extraordinarily large number of Indian seafarers. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it is, the numbers are stacking up to 15,000 and beyond, if I'm right. So that's a humongous number. And I think this credit is owed to you because I think you were geared in terms of your ecosystem. You know, to use a cliche here, you know, when the going gets tough, the saying is that the tough get going. And I think all kudos to these two bodies. So I avail this occasion to convey my heartiest compliments to both MASA and FOSMA and all their office bearers, members, and all representatives. This is yet another feather in your cap. I'm sure you're not going to be complacent. This is only going to stir and motivate you going forward to do far more in terms of your contributions. I must also, without sounding very cliched and, you know, not trying to sort of pander to the occasion, must mention that, you know, in my checkered civil service career of 36.5 years, since September 1980 till about the end of 2016, I have had the good fortune of serving in multiple assignments. And without, again, as I said, being without pandering to sentiments, if I were to pick one assignment which I would, in terms of hold dearest to my heart, would be the 6 years of my tenure in the National Maritime Administration. And that I owe it to all of you to having made that extremely memorable. So with this, I would again extend my deep sense of gratitude to the Nautical Institute for this opportunity afforded to reconnect with all of you after quite some time. I extend my warmest greetings and my very best wishes to all of you present here on this occasion, and also those behind the scenes at a personal and professional level. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening and good day to all of you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you once again for acknowledging our invitation and coming and speaking on this event and speaking words of appreciation for both FOSMA and MASA. I believe both these associations thoroughly deserve such appreciation. Thank you once again, and very happy to know that you are very closely connected to seafarers and you consider your term at the DG Shipping as close to your heart. I should also tell the audience that Sir Deepak Shetty sir has not left the seafarers. He is a trustee at I-SWAN. So his contribution to seafarers continue, and it is very nice to know that you are there for the seafarers. So thank you once again.
Thank you.
Gillian, for the next event, I'm just sharing my screen. This is what we are all gathered here for. Let me just... Gillian, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Yes, working very well.
So this is what the event is all about, appreciating efforts taken by the two associations. First, we would like to appreciate the efforts taken by Team MASSA and Captain Prashant Rangnekar. And I request Mr. Duncan Mcketvie to speak a few words of appreciation to Captain Prashant and Team MASSA. Over to Captain Duncan.
I was relaxing a little too much there. I couldn't find my unmute button. I've been very impressed with the conduct of the whole afternoon or evening, depending where you happen to be, and I can see that there's a huge amount of commitment from all of the speakers, not only to the core values of what we all stand for, but for the welfare of each and every seafarer. Possibly that is because so many have spent so much time at sea themselves, and we know exactly what it's like. We know what it's like to be without relief, and we know what it's like to be disappointing those at home when you don't actually reach there. This is a really serious event that we're now facing, and as Gillian said in her introduction, it is affecting mental health of seafarers. So everything and anything that can be done is welcome. The efforts that is being put out by the Southwest India branch and by all of those I've seen speaking today and in the previous events which I've attended are encouraging. It's marvelous that we can recognize the need and help to alleviate the pain where it is possible. So well done to everybody, impressed by it all. Thank you.
I would also request our founder, president of Southwest Branch, Captain Jose Putti, to offer his words of appreciation because he's been a member of MASSA for so long. Please unmute, sir. Yes, still muted.
Is there a problem with the sound?
He's still muted.
Okay.
Okay. As he sorts out, let me just quickly go to my.
Okay, I think I've got it back now. Wait, sorry about that. So many congratulations to MASSA. I've been associated with MASSA from 1998 onwards when I was representing Expedo Canada, and now with Apollo Maritime Group Singapore. So MASSA has been a great organization to be a part of, wherein if you had any kind of problems, you just need to approach and they would take care. And during this pandemic, as you know, when everything came to a standstill, nobody knew what to do as far as the seafarers are concerned. They've taken the initiative to arrange charter flights, and that has got the industry really back on their feet. So it's been a wonderful effort from their side. And Captain Shiv Halbe, he has been really burning midnight oil for us during these times, and he is the go-to guy person for anything. So it's wonderful to be a part of MASSA and to be on this program to recognize the efforts of this organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Let me.
Are you doing the send of the?
Yeah, can you see the screen? Yeah.
No, we can't see your screen right now, but I have a feeling that I know what you're doing. You are doing through the joy of the electronic internet to send the certificate on. Is that correct?
No. Can you see the screen that I'm sharing? Which is, I've got one more certificate. So
you might have to start sharing again.
Okay.
you want me to put the other certificate up to share?
Can you put the other certificate for me? Yeah.
Yes, I will. This is the one for
FOSMA.
just getting it up on my screen. For FOSMA, yes, and the team. Here we are. I will just share that 1 second. Give me a second. I am sharing. I think you should see it now. Can you see it?
Yes. So I request you, Ms. Gillian, to speak a few words of appreciation for Dr. Sanjay, Bhavnani, and FOSMA.
Oh, well, I mean, what is there left to say? It's been amazing hearing from all of the esteemed speakers, all of the history and the hard work and the effort that has gone into ensuring the crew changes and beyond, earlier than that, to setting up the MLC and to then ensuring that we have a safe environment for seafarers. It says on here that it's to Team FOSMA as well, because as we know, in all of the activities that happen, there are so many people that work together. That the effort that goes into organizing, to arranging for crew changes at the best of times is a lot of work. It's never been an easy task. It's always been something that's been challenging and logistically challenging. During COVID, it's been next to impossible, but we are seeing success, and it is wonderful to see that. From the speakers that we've had, it is very evident as well that there's a lot of strong support for the work that's happening. And it really is an honor and a pleasure to be able to be here and to provide this vote of thanks, the opportunity to stir and motivate, I think were the words that were being used. I love that thought that we are trying to encourage, not to say, well done, leave it there, rest on your laurels, but this is to recognize the ongoing effort that you have to stir and motivate into the future. And actually, as we start thinking ahead, what will be the ongoing options for crew change, because COVID-19 has not seemed to let up at all. In Melbourne, we have a second wave, and we are seeing that happening around the world. So what is the future? This set of crew change happens. What is the next set of crew change? How are we going to ensure that we have an ongoing sustainable future for the industry, which we will have and we must have, because seafaring is so important. And we have this opportunity to share this information and to get a bit beyond our own echo chamber to start ensuring that the rest of the world just knows how important shipping is and how important the maritime industry is. So congratulations to Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani and Team FOSMA for everyone, for all of the effort that they've been doing.
Thank you, Ms. Gillian. Do we have Captain John Meneses here? Captain John Meneses? Okay, I think he was here, but probably. Okay, Gillian, I would share my screen.
John is here. John is here.
Captain John Meneses, can you hear us?
Yes. Yes, Vinod.
Yes, Captain, would you like to offer your words of appreciation to FOSMA?
I think enough has been said, and it's also a great privilege for me to share the screen with my batchmates, Shiv Halbe from MASSA, and who was my cabin mate, and also my top mate, Mahesh Yadav. And of course, it's great having Captain Barve, and we all owe to a lot of the stalwarts. And I look forward that, we can grow further. We can chalk out a way ahead with the Nautical Institute, FOSMA, and NASA, as well as the IMU. And let's look for blue skies and green lights and many depths below the keel. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Captain John. This is Gillian, if you could stop sharing your screen so that I can do mine. Yeah, okay. Let me try. Can you see my screen, Gillian?
It's almost there. Yes, I can. I can see your emails, your Gmail.
Okay, so I'm just going to make use of this technology and not keep the certificates with me anymore. This is the certificate for Captain Prashant, Rangnekar and MASSA. I'm just sending it off, and I'm sure it would have reached his inbox in the next 5 seconds. I would also do the same for, can you see my screen now, Gillian? Yeah, okay. So this is the certificate for Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani. We at the Nautical Institute don't believe in holding on the appreciation with us, so we are shooting it across. Both of you, sirs, you would have received this now in your inbox. Okay, over the next event on my lineup. You know, in India, they say that we have two sets of the seafarers. I'm just echoing the feelings of the seafarers. They say there are two sets of companies or two types of companies. One which thinks from their mind, and the other that thinks from their heart. So we have a gentleman with us who heads a company who thinks from the heart for the seafarers. And if you have to think, if you have to have such a thought of for the welfare of seafarers, it has to come right from the top. So we have today with us Captain Prashant Rangnekar, who is the COO of Elegant Marine Services, which serve the fleet management, one of the largest management companies across the world. So it's my privilege to invite Captain Prashant Rangnekar to take us through the efforts and the challenges faced by MASSA. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Captain Vinod, for your very kind words. It was such a nice to hear these illustrious and eloquent speakers ahead of me. And when I say that, I do miss one person whom we lost during this pandemic, who was a very eloquent speaker, very illustrious, and that is Captain H. Subramaniam. I pray here for his soul to rest in peace. He was a great man who had a lot of empathy for the seafarers. Now, before I say anything, let me come back to the event, which is being organized by Nautical Institute. So good afternoon, everyone. Again, much appreciate this initiative from Nautical Institute, whereby they are giving due recognition to the most critical and positive outcome during the pandemic. I'm talking about the crew changes which were done by the industry, no matter what the challenge is, purely out of sense of duty towards our seafarers and their families. Ms. Gillian Jackson, President of Nautical Institute London, Mr. Duncan Mcketvie, Vice President, Nautical Institute London, Captain J.K. Thomas, Founder President, Nautical Institute India Southwest Chapter, along with Captain Joseph Alapat, Captain Vinod Naveen, all representing the Nautical Institute India Southwest Chapter, have been at the forefront in recognizing the efforts of the industry, and our sincere thanks to the Nautical Institute team. Thanks to Captain Halbe for giving introduction and brief history of MASSA. Over the years, MASSA has graduated from a secretariat of members to drivers of business and has played a stellar role in shaping businesses as well. In this current pandemic, MASSA assumed a new role. When flights were cancelled during the lockdown and movement of crew was restricted, domestic as well as the overseas, MASSA kept the members informed about various developments within India as well as outside regarding status of crew changes. This enabled us to shape our responses to our clients as well as to seafarers, both of whom were very anxious to know, now what? How do we face this unprecedented challenge for which no contingency plan was ever made? The secret of success, they say, is to start from scratch and keep scratching until you succeed. And this is what the two major associations, the industry, MASSA and FOSMA, did by having meetings with Ministry as well as the Director General of Shipping to explain our problems and need for crew relief and arrangements thereof. Initially, crew changes in Indian ports commenced, and MASSA and FOSMA assisted members and the industry at large by compiling a matrix of crew change related issues at ports in our country. This matrix was shared with the administration, who would promptly iron out the problems. MASSA FOSMA also assisted the administration in drafting the first SOP on crew changes. which was appreciated by everyone as one of the best in the industry. Once the ministry gave permission for the chartered flights, MASSA and FOSMA got together to facilitate air charters, with focus being on crew relief. The arrangements thus needed to be reliable to enable our members plan the reliefs. The focus was on cost too, and thus a sharing arrangement benefited all. So what started as humble 170-seater flight on 3rd of June, one way, carrying 121 passengers to Doha, finally saw month of June carrying about 3,800 passengers, or crew, I must say. The month of July was extremely hectic, with flights being ramped up, 38 flights and more than 8,830 seafarers. The high point was on 10th of July. 3 flights were arranged on a single day and a total of 712 seafarers traveled. MASSA FOSMA, with the help of Hong Kong-based leading management company, pioneered chartering of flights to Hong Kong, which seemed impossible until done. With the skies gradually opening up in August, the time has come to wind down the flights, as companies are now rightfully making use of the bubble flights. But that did not stop MASSA and FOSMA from foraying into a hitherto unknown territory, flight from India to Perth, Western Australia, carrying seafarers to join ships in that region. There are challenges in getting onto commercial flights to Australia. The first foray into Perth was successful on 25th of August, again with the help of leading ship manager in the industry, and we will have another flight shortly. Actually, this was forced onto us due to tightening up of movement of crew change in China, Singapore, Hong Kong, Korea, and Japan, which are the main crew change hubs in this part of the world. MASSA FOSMA reached the milestone of having transported 15,000 seafarers on 15th of August. A good way to celebrate Independence Day, I must say. It has been a long and arduous journey with edge of the seat excitement, but successful as well. We have achieved this mainly with the support of ATPI, our travel partners. I cannot just conclude without paying my respect where it is due. Thanking our largest supporter, guide, and facilitator, the Director General of Shipping, Sri Amitabh Kumar, and Captain Daniel Joseph of the DG Shipping. They have smoothened our problems at odd hours, at times, having to explain the working of the shipping industry to other ministries to facilitate speedy approval of movement of seafarers. The Indian Embassy in Doha has been a pillar of support and continues to be so, handling all our queries and requests very promptly. I must also add here that our seafarers, Indians and from other nationalities, have been extremely patient and cooperative and have greatly benefited from this bold venture of MASSA and FOSMA into chartering of flights for the relief. And they too join us in expressing their deepest gratitude to all those who helped them to return to their families. In this entire period, the ship owners have been silently but surely supporting the cause by accepting enormous costs on crew changes. And we collectively acknowledge their share in achieving what appeared impossible. Kudos to the Ministry of Shipping, DGCA, Ministry of External Affairs, Indigo, Indian embassies in Qatar, Hong Kong, and Perth, also Qatar Airways, and our travel partner ATPI for the support from behind the scene. Finally, hats off to the secretariats of MASSA and FOSMA, Captain Halbe in particular, and the collective will of our members to get our seafarers back. Our motto is simple: seafarers first. They say dream is not what you see in sleep. Dream is the thing which does not allow you to sleep. And managing crew changes was our dream, and happy that we could collectively achieve it and continue to fulfill our dream. So thanks to everyone. Happy Onam to our well-wishers from Kerala. Don't let the pandemic dampen your spirits, and have a wonderful weekend and happy days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And I would say thank you for dreaming on behalf of the 2 lakh seafarers that we have from the great country. I was just looking at the chat box, and I had somebody messaging that we should appreciate Sri Amitabh Kumar. I would just like to remind the audience that this is our 7th event of appreciation. And the last event was for Sri Amitabh Kumar in DG Shipping. The same person also did comment that we should appreciate ports. Sir, I would like to tell you that our first certificate of appreciation was given to Dr. Beena and Captain Joseph Alapart for the Cochin port. So we started this journey of appreciating Cochin port, which had done commendable work towards the sign-off and sign-on of seafarers. We wanted to do for many more events, but I could see somebody like Captain Basim is already on the job, and he has already appreciated, I believe, JNPT port. And yesterday night, I saw a mail that Captain Basim has sent to Captain Alapad appreciating the efforts of Cochin Port Trust. So Captain Basim has taken over a lot of our load. Yes, he did mention about INSA. Yes, INSA is very much part of our industry, and we do appreciate the efforts taken by INSA as well. Well, we have our next speaker, I should say, probably about 5 to 6 years back, when I went to Mumbai to speak on a particular seminar in Mumbai. It was my first event of Kerala, and I was probably very nervous sitting on the stage, waiting for my turn to speak, being the first event. But I had this tall gentleman. We're coming back to the tall people. I had this tall gentleman sitting next to me, and he looked so cool and handled the situation so well that I just followed his calmness. It's very difficult that you will find a chief engineer administering the role, in ashore. So he is one of those rare engineers who have administered the office quite well. He is now the COO of one of the leading Japanese shipping companies in India. Let me invite the chairman of FOSMA, Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani, to speak us through the efforts. I'm sure a lot has been spoken by Captain Prashant Rangnekar, but over to you, sir.
Well, thank you, Captain Vinod, for your very kind words. And it's always a pleasure interacting with you. And it is no different this time. Of course, this is indeed a very proud moment for FOSMA to be felicitated by the Nautical Institute. And at the onset, on behalf of the entire team at FOSMA, I would like to convey our gratitude for such an honor bestowed. It is indeed a matter of privilege for all of us, in fact, especially for me, as well as for all of us, meeting the various luminaries of the Nautical Institute, as well as that of the industry. And that's indeed, something, this is one of those times which doesn't happen very often. So this will really be etched in our memory for a very, very long time. I would like to thank everybody for being here, and also for giving us all the encouragement and all the inspiration for whatever work has been done so far, as well as what is to be planned to be done in the future. It was around the last week of May when the lockdown was beginning to show its increasing impact on the global economy, and especially on the maritime industry, and thereby highlighting the issues of the ever-increasing relief of the seafarers, whose number who were overdue for relief was steadily increasing. Seafarers had to suffer due to the closing of sign-on and sign-off and the consequent lockdowns and the movement restrictions which were imposed by the various countries worldwide. While as due to the active initiatives which were taken by the Director General of Shipping through efficiently drafted as well as implemented SOPs, crew change was already taking place at several Indian ports. The question foremost on the minds of the industry was at that time as to how would the crew changes be possible on vessels not calling at Indian ports. Since the number of seafarers due for relief was increasing at a very fast pace and there was no solution in sight, the situation looked pretty bleak at that time and not at all optimistic. The global sentiment was also not encouraging, and though crew changes were taking place at very few ports, as and where of course it was allowed, but it was very constraining in nature. This was a time when FOSMA, in response to the increased number of requests from the industry as well as from its various member companies, decided to utilize its reach and industry coverage in an attempt to facilitate the travel of the seafarers from and to India by embarking and disembarking them from the vessels plying worldwide. It formed a core committee comprising of its select directors backed by the entire board, and through a joint effort by partnering with MASSA and its core committee, started going about putting the process of all the approvals in place painstakingly and most meticulously. The chartered flights were permitted to fly out till then, that is, but so far no seafarers were allowed to travel back into India, without which the crew change process would not really have been achieved. There were seafarers who were allowed to travel out, but no seafarer was really allowed to come back in as a matter of routine till that time. It was again through the good office of the Director General of Shipping that the repatriation of the seafarers was achieved in close coordination with the Ministry of Shipping as well as the Ministry of External Affairs. We cannot thank enough Mr. Amitabh Kumar and his entire team, and especially Captain Daniel Joseph, for providing the industry continuous level of support, guidance, and assistance virtually on a 24/7 basis. At the same time, the FOSMA core team worked tirelessly to make the entire endeavor successful and set it in motion at regular intervals. Successful partnerships were established with Qatar Airways and its aeropolitical division based in Doha, the Indian Diplomatic Mission in Doha, and ATPI, which by acting as our travel partners were doing everything what was needed to be done as far as the specific travel requirements were needed. They were instrumental in handling all the travel related aspects and taking care of all the other details. At the beginning, the flight started off with a frequency of once every 4 days, effective from the 3rd of June, which steadily increased as the demand for the same increased. The crew change had commenced, and the confidence of the Indian seafarers in our industry soared considerably when the Indian seafarer realized that the repatriation was now just a matter of time. This brought about a greater level of encouragement and optimism all around, and which continues to be a benchmark today for all other countries to follow. So much so, there were occasions when there were 3 flights which operated in a single day to cater to the increased demand which followed. Our strong partnership with MASSA, as well as with the support of our member companies, could get together all the leading companies of the industry together to work towards this common objective of enabling the crew change of the Indian seafarers from the various foreign ports. FOSMA would like to thank every entity which has contributed towards this endeavor. Under the continual guidance of the DG Shipping and its entire team, its core committee of directors, namely Captain Sankalp Shukla, Captain Mukesh Sharan, and of course the ever encouraging and the inspiring Captain Rajesh Tandon, and the entire board, the secretariat, namely Captain Mahesh Yadav and Mr. Rustam Kasinar, for putting in all their efforts at all times of the day and night for making this venture see the reality of the day. FOSMA would also like to thank ATPI for its unending support and for providing its continual expertise on the subject to ensure all intricate aspects as they existed were well taken care of. Today, the Ministry of Shipping has facilitated more than 100,000 crew changes both at Indian ports and through the various charter flights at the foreign ports. It is the highest number of crew changes in the world. Despite the pandemic, all Indian ports have been operational and continue to provide essential services throughout. The main pillar for the smooth supply chain for India and of course the world are the seafarers. Seafarers unfortunately had to suffer due to the closing of sign-on and sign-off and the lockdowns and the movement restrictions which followed, but we are glad to whatever extent we were able to give some sort of a relief to this and achieve whatever sign-offs and sign-ons we were able to do so. It is only due to the instrumental efforts made by the entire industry, led by the Director General of Shipping, that the above has been achieved and the global benchmark set for the repatriation of the seafarers. FOSMA conveys its gratitude once again to all the people, to Mr. Amitabh Kumar, Captain Daniel Joseph, and the entire team at the DGS office for making this venture successful. In closing, FOSMA once again conveys its heartfelt thanks to the Nautical Institute for this appreciation and would look forward to forging a stronger partnership with the Institute in areas of mutual interest, primarily concerning the welfare of the Indian seafarers. Once again, thank you very much. Happy Onam. All the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Once again, thank you to both FOSMA and MASSA. As we have been reading the news across the globe of how difficult this period has been for seafarers, especially signing on, signing off. We've been reading news about how certain administrations are not really giving this a priority. And I should say that in India, it has been a teamwork. It has been a teamwork right from the top, from the highest authority of DG Shipping, from Sri Amitabh Kumar to FOSMA, to MASSA, and all the members of FOSMA, MASSA, INSA, and all those people. I think India has done commendable during the last few months, especially towards the seafarers' welfare. So once again, thank you to FOSMA, MASSA, INSA, and all those associations and the authorities who have worked towards the cause of the seafarers. We're coming towards the end of the event. I would say I have my counterpart at the CMMI and my good friend, Captain Rajesh Nambiar, who's a pilot at Cochin Port, who has climbed up and down the ladder so many times towards the cause of, helping the cause of seafarers, signing off and signing on for the ships calling Cochin Port through Captain Joseph Alapat. So to deliver the vote of thanks, I invite Captain Rajesh Nambiar, Secretary, CMMI Kochi Chapter.
Thank you, Captain Vinod. Good evening to all the dignitaries, speakers, fraternity members, and guests. It is indeed an honor for me to be part of this wonderful initiative by the Nautical Institute India Southwest in recognizing exemplary work by institutions during these challenging times. Efforts that keep the flag of resilience flying high and maintain the fire of hope for the present and the future. I would like to begin by placing on record my sincere thanks to Captain Shiv Halbe, Captain Prashant Rangnekar, Captain Mahesh Yadav, and Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani, senior members of Team MASSA and Team FOSMA, and stalwarts in their own right for their stellar contributions and associating with us in our humble efforts to recognize you. In my personal capacity as well, I am deeply indebted to MASSA Academy, Belapur, Navi Mumbai, where I had the privilege of honing my skills and completing my preparatory courses from second mates to masters. Thank you, sirs. Next, I would like to thank Captain P.S. Barve, sir, Captain G.K. George, Sri Deepak Shetty, sir, IRS retired, beacons of inspiration for all of us for taking time out and gracing this function by offering felicitations. Thank you, sirs. Nautical Institute wishes to offer special thanks to many of our senior fraternity members like Sri Sabyasachi Hajara, Captain Philip Matthews, Captain S.M. Divekar, Dr. K.S. Simon, Captain M.P. Bhasin, Captain Sudhir Subedar, Captain Kausul Pradhan, Captain Joseph Alapat, Captain John Menezes, Captain Rajesh Tandon, Captain John Ephraim, Sri Sanjeev Vakil, Sri Amar Singh Thakur, and many, many more for their august presence as guests and enhancing the stature of our humble event. Our own dear Nautical Institute family members, Captain Tom Joseph, Captain Jose Kutty Thomas, Ms. Gillian Jackson, and Mr. Duncan Mcketvie merit special mention for being pillars of support and guidance in the activities of Nautical Institute India Southwest. A big thank you. I would like to thank our online and offline partners, Sailor Today, Marix, Sea and Job, Bhandaka Publications, Sea and Coast, and Saga Sandesh. You have played a great role in increasing our reach and helping us address a larger cross-section of the fraternity and otherwise in showcasing our efforts. Thank you very much and looking forward to continued mutual support and cooperation. I would be failing in my objective if I were not to mention our very dynamic and enterprising secretary, Captain Vinod Naveen, the chief architect of this event, for his exemplary work in enhancing the vision and mission objectives of the Nautical Institute. Thank you, Captain Vinod, and thank you personally for giving me this opportunity as well. I would like to thank all the others who have been present with us today to make this event truly special. Sincere apologies to any omissions that may have inadvertently occurred on my part due to the scarcity of time. Thank you. Jai Hind. Over to you, Vinod.
Thank you, Captain Rajesh Nambiar. I was just going through the messages. And of course, today we have again overshoot our time. We normally started as a 1 hour event, but some of the events have been overshooting on time, but we couldn't help it. Today, especially, as I mentioned, it's a special event today. We had so many eminent personalities of the industry on today. And it was so nice listening to all the speakers. I would let Jillian do that. Please, Jillian, if you could just appreciate all the speakers and all the eminent personalities that we had today.
Oh, how could I do honor to such an amazing array of speakers that we've had? I have learned so much about the efforts that have been going on over the decades to support seafarers and the strength of the maritime industry within India and beyond its borders. It's absolutely wonderful to have all of these speakers take the time out and present so eloquently the very key factors and elements that they want to present. I am so pleased that we have been able to be part of this, and it's such an honor to have all of these speakers participate and to present to us. So thank you very much for all of you and for the work that you've been doing. And Vinod, thank you very much as well for keeping us organized and to have this access to these people who can come and speak and tell us about what is happening, what has happened, and what will be going. Because we are an amazing industry with a very strong history. We are in the present now and always with our eye to the future. So thank you.
Thank you, Jillian. I would just wind up with, today we had Mariners Club joining us from north to south of Kerala. We had a club in Kannur, we have a Mariners Club in Thrissur, Trivandrum, of course, Mariners Society in Cochin. So in the morning today, I got a message that, I'll be very happy to see my boss. And he was referring to Captain Prashant Rangnekar. So that is the kind of response that we have been getting. Of course, there is one gentleman who said, INSA is the heart of Indian shipping. Of course, when I meant the heart, I meant the personality of Captain Prashant Rangnekar. Knowing him for the last so many years and the interactions with him. So thank you all once again. And for the next 1 minute, we are breaking all protocols of this event. We would request, this is a request come from Canberra, Australia. We would request all of you to turn on your videos. We would like to take some pictures and you can unmute yourself. You can make how much ever noise you want. And I think you can take this opportunity to compliment the recipients of today's certificates. Please turn on your mics, turn on your cameras, and offer your compliments.
So, heartiest congratulations to FOSMA, MASSA, to Captain Prashant Rangnekar, Captain Sanjay, Bhavnani, and also our gratitude from the industry to Nautical Institute for holding one after other such wonderful events. It has been really great that Nautical Institute has taken this initiative, and I think on behalf of the entire Indian maritime fraternity, I can offer a very big thank you to the Nautical Institute.
Congratulations, FOSMA and MASSA.
And big thank you to Nautical Institute and the Kochi chapter for organizing very wonderful event. Thank you.
Indeed, heartfelt. Heartiest thank you to Captain Vinod Naveen for conducting it very well, very organized, and to all the speakers, eminent speakers. Wonderful hearing you, and thank you for this felicitation to FOSMA and MASSA. Very well appreciated. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Captain Vinod. You have organized this very well, and I congratulate Prashant Rangnekar and Sanjay Bhavnani and FOSMA and MASSA. Well, all are attending here, and thank you very much. It's a good initiative.
Yeah, job you have done, Vinod. But I should say the FOSMA, MASSA and other ports have done together a fantastic job, but it's not over now. It's just started and nobody knows when the COVID situation will be over. So we have got to tighten our belts and be ready for even something worse. and do our best for the seafarers, for everybody joining hands together, and looking forward to the future to help you in organizing anything that is required in Cochin. We are always there in a team. Thank you, Vinod. Thank you, FOSMA and MASSA.
Heartiest congratulations to Captain Prashant Rangnekar and his team at MASSA. Heartiest congratulations to Captain Sanjay, to Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani and his team at FOSMA. And I must really appreciate the day in and out work being done by Captain Shiv Halbe and other members of FOSMA. I need not measure. Anybody is available any time of the day and night. And a wonderful achievement, over 100,000 seafarers being relieved. I think now we are under Corona, we are relieving faster than normal times. It is really becoming a show like that, because I see that even in my fleet, I have got a turnover faster than it was before. So well done, and well done to the Nautical Institute, fabulously week over week with lots of efforts. I see Captain Vinod Naveen and Captain Tom Joseph putting in lots and lots of effort. Well done. I'm sure the Nautical Institute is going to spread far and wide in India as it is doing globally. Well done. Thank you.
Well done, Captain. Well done, FOSMA and MASSA. And I speak to a lot of seafarers, and then when I see the gleam in their eyes and the smile on their faces after they've signed off, and some of them are very, very, really thankful. It's at the end of the day, I think it's that's all matters to FOSMA and MASSA, the real happiness of the seafarers. So on behalf of all the seafarers who I speak to, a very, very big thank you for doing whatever you've done and spending all those sleepless nights to get the crew change on. It's a tremendous effort. So congratulations to both FOSMA and MASSA.
Congratulations to MASSA FOSMA team, and also Cochin chapter Nautical Institute. I think we have heard of awards year after year, but this is the first time we are seeing week after week. 7 events is something great, and thanks, very innovative idea. I appreciate the Nautical Institute and Nautical Institute Kochi basically. It's very good and very motivating to all those who have worked behind the scenes. Thank you.
Congratulations to Nautical Institute as well as the recipients of the certificate today. And my special congratulations to Captain Vinod Naveen, and Onam greetings to all the participants. Thank you.
Congrats to FOSMA and MASSA team for creating a first SOP that helped actually triggered a crew change in India, and also that became a standard document for entire maritime industry in the world. I know Captain Prashant Rangnekar, he was working very hard for the crew change. Thank you all.
Congratulations, MASSA FOSMA, and well organized Captain Vinod Naveen. Thank you.
Congratulations to MASSA and FOSMA. My regards to Mahesh and Shiv Halbe. And I would like to wish all the fellow Nautical Institute members of India Southwest Branch very happy and significant own. Thank you.
I see a number of my seniors from the training ship, my colleagues, my junior Rajesh Tandon. I especially mention him because a few years ago in Mumbai, for a seminar, Captain Rajesh Tandon mentioned that the mentoring that he got on the training ship, that is what has played a major role in his career. So as seniors, the 1 year of mentoring or ragging that you would like to call it has done him good, and he's as mentoring, and that is great. And as you know, the Nautical Institute is trying to promote mentoring. Captain Andre Legovind has written a wonderful book called Mentoring at Sea. So thank you, Rajesh, for taking that, and then I'm sure you would have mentored your juniors just as my senior Captain John Ephraim is here, who has mentored us through this. I also want to coin a new term called COVID criminal. And who is a COVID criminal? Well, it's the seafarer. Because the way the seafarers are treated now with suspicion and the kind of draconian rules, plethora of procedures in various countries, making it almost impossible to join or leave the ship. So this kind of COVID criminalization has to stop, and the industry has to come together to see that seafarers don't get a raw deal anymore. Thank you so much for participating in this, and a happy Onam to all of you and your families.
Since you
Thank you all for your presence and participation. That has made it success. Thank you very much for this activity which has been going on, and thank you very much for your participation. That has made it successful. Thank you.
I just gave 30 seconds more to see a few more cameras which is turned off. Please request all of you to turn on your camera. And since Captain Jose Thomas mentioned about Captain Rajesh Tandon, I would like to tell the audience that, as I mentioned, he's also one of the recipients of the prestigious Varna Award.
Thank you, Nautical Institute Southwest Branch, India, for appreciating MASSA and FOSMA. Thank you, Zillian. Thank you, Captain Vinod. An extraordinary event put together, rightly said by Sanjeev Vakil, week after week. It is a great motivation factor to all of us on behalf of MASSA, FOSMA. A truly wonderful event today. Thank you.
Okay, I know Jillian, you got all the pictures? Yeah, Jillian is just waiting to get to the yoga mat and then followed by her dinner. Already too late in Australia. But just give me a second, Jillian. I would just like to share my screen to let the audience know that this is what we have upcoming event. Next Saturday, we are appreciating Anglo-Eastern India to Mr. Manish Pradhan. And followed up on 12th of September, we are having an event for ICE1. Mr. Andy Winbo, and as I mentioned, Sri Deepak Shetty sir and Mr. Chirag is also here from S1. This is our forthcoming two events up over the next 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the work that you do to organize these events. And it's just amazing throughout the evening. So I think we had up over 90 people on the Zoom meeting. And I'm looking at the Facebook. Well, people have been leaving lately. We had over 627 people who reached already during the event time.
So thank you all. Can we close, Jillian?
Please do.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Hey, Naveen, no chai?
No, bye, Jillian.
You are here.
It's a party time.
I'm closing the room.
Happy Onam to all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.